It is seed time. We are here in Texas and we're getting ready to start our seed germination. We have purchased some land this last fall, and so we are going to be able to have a larger garden than we've had here in the backyard of our HOA. So with that being said, it's not as reasonable price-wise to go by the number of plants we're going to need to fill our garden. So we are going to seed germinate. So a few weeks ago we ordered the seeds online. Those came in. So I did a little bit of research online, and I found out that for the grow lights, I'm going to call them shop lights, workshop lights, basically the garage lights is what I ordered on Amazon. I got a 10-pack. I'll put the link below so you can see where I got them and what they were. But basically, you're supposed to be looking at a minimum of 5,000 lumens. And then for your Kelvin or K, you need 4,500 to 6,500 of those to have the brightness that they need to germinate. So that is what I'm going off of. And we basically have a lot to do. The shop lights came in today, so my husband went ahead and set that up today and got all the shelving in. We fit a lot more on the shelving than I thought, so I had to go run. I ran to the local Atwoods and got some more germination trays and some more potting mix for the seeds. So with that, as you can see, you'll basically get your seeds together. How you decide what you want to plant? You got to look at your frost date. Just Google that. Open up your Google search Safari on your phone, on your computer, and type last frost date, either for your zip code, your city, your current location, and it will give you the frost date. And then you'll look for planting calendars. So most of those will pop up when you type in the last frost date for planting with a link that goes and does a printout for you. So I got a printout. It tells me, what you need to direct sow, meaning the germinate or putting straight into the garden, and then what you need to start indoors, which is what we're doing here, and dates and so forth. Also joined a group on Facebook, and I found they recommended this cool app. It's called From Seed to Spoon. It's a free app. Just basically, if you purchase things, you'll purchase them through the link, and that's how they'll get their income from the app. But it's really neat because if you're not sure, you can click on what you're going to be planting. So, for example, sweet peppers, something that we'll be planting today. You'll scroll down to the sweet peppers, and then it tells you growing a different variety, and then it tells you spring planting dates, because the app will either go off of your location if you allow it, or you can put the zip code where you're going to be planting. So for us, we're in a different zip code than where we live currently for our land, so that's changed. And then basically for sweet peppers, it says you can start them from January 11th to March 24th, and that you should be starting to plant them right at March 24th, which is right after the last frost date. So that's really neat. And some other things that the app shows you is that you really don't plant them in the summer, but you can also plant them back again in the fall. So it tells you what days to plant them for the fall. It tells you that it does grow in the warm season, doesn't tolerate cold, and all this is on here. It tells you if you're going to put it in a container, what size the gallon container size needs to be, where it needs to be, full sun. It takes 70 to 90 days from seed to harvest. And it tells you water requirements weekly, and it says it does not like wet leaves. So, peppers and tomatoes, they don't like wet leaves, so it tells you, and then it tells you also what type of fertilizer to use. And then what is really nice, it tells you, how long, about planting. It tells you 1/4 inch deep, and a rule of thumb is just basically double the size the seed is width. So if you're not sure, just remember that. But it tells you how far to plant it, but also tells you what to expect on sprout days. So when you're doing this, you can write down either on a piece of tape on the front of your container, or you can write down on your tag when you planted it, so you know if nothing's coming up and this is 7 to 10 days after 2 weeks, that one didn't germinate, so you might want to try a different one. And it tells you also how big it gets, which is really nice. So I really like this app just because of all that information, but also when you go to plant, you can hit add to garden, and then it asks you for the name and what type and the day you plant it and things like that. So it's really good for people that don't have time to write. You don't have to worry about if it gets paper wet or dirty. It's gonna be in your phone. So anybody that's interested, again, it's from seed to spoon on an app, and it is free. Or you can go in and plant, type in last frost date on Google search, and then look for a planting guide, and there's plenty in there that you can print off as well. And there's be a spring one, a summer, and a fall one, so just look for those. So basically what I have been doing is writing down the types on these little, of all the different plants I'm going to be planting. So as we plant them in our germination container, we can label them, and then I'll date them as we put them under the grow lights. Also for the germination, it tells you until they start sprouting that they need 16 hours of the shop light or grow light, and then the other 8 off. So doing that, I just went ahead about a timer so I don't forget, and they automatically come on. We also have for our electric plan, we have free nights from 9 to 9, so we'll be doing a lot of the 12 hours. The majority of it's going to go over through the night, so it's not going to cost us that much more money on doing those. So just look at that, and then as the plants grow, it reduces the time. And also you'll need to make sure that you have a timer, or you have something set to where you're going to remember to turn the lights on and off. I went ahead and just bought an actual surge protector that you can plug the outlets in and set a timer for, and then also the shop lights all plug into each other, so that kind of helps as well. Therefore, I just set the timer. Actually, my husband did it for me because he's awesome. Set the timer, and then it'll click on and click off. So we have those set, so I don't have to remember. I'll just have to change those once the seeds start sprouting and coming up. Then we'll change the time and pull it back a little bit. So with that, there's many things to do, so let's get started. How about so as you see, I have different types of containers. These are 72. We're going to be planting a lot in the garden, but also I'm going to be looking at selling some of my plants to friends and family and so forth, because one, I ordered things that I'm not going to find in the Home Depot or the Lowe's or local nursery. I did lots of different types of plants. I did this, just because it's up here, I'm going to pull it up. I did this eggplant that's a long, thin shape, almost like a bean, just something different. So did a lot of different types so that we can try something new. So I feel that if I haven't seen it before in the garden, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to want it as well. So as I went through and labeled the seeds, I realized I have an abundance of hot peppers and sweet peppers, which I love. And then tomatoes would be my second runner-up. I actually thought I was going to have a lot more tomatoes than I did, but I didn't, so I might have to order a few more. Anyway, so we have these 72 singles that we'll be able to plant extras in. Our garden space is going to be 30 feet by 70 feet, so we're going to actually have 2,100 square feet of garden space. So we will have a lot, but then there'll be things like corn and squash and zucchini, things like that that are going to fill it up. And then we'll also have berries and fruit. Whole different video. So we have a lot of space, 2,100 square feet, and you know, we can go out further if we need to be, but we're gonna need a lot of plants, but then we also want to be able to give them to some friends and sell some, and, you know, at least maybe sell and make up for the cost of all the seeds in this year's containers. The good thing about these plastic containers, I did purchase these at Atwood's as well, just because they were easy and I have to order them online, but I'm sure you can get them through Amazon. They're plastic, so they're going to be reusable. You just have to make sure that you do wash these once you take them out before you reuse them, to make sure that you sterilize them and that you don't transfer any mold or anything that might have come across this. Again, these will be 72. We'll fill the water on the bottom once, and it'll stop up through the holes and keep it wet throughout. So we have these, and then we have some larger ones for our peppers and tomatoes. And these are 36, but we're going to do 2 plants in each, and then as they get bigger, we'll separate them, and then I have single containers that I'll plant them in. So to get started, we have a lot of dirt to fill, and then we have a lot of seeds to put in here and plant. So the good thing is, if you're not really sure on how deep, if it's supposed to go on top like lavender and it's just keep the soil wet, all that information is going to be detailed in that From Seed to Spoon app, which is really nice. Or, you know, just as you're planting, if you don't want to get that app, you can just Google the seed you're planting and just get the information as you go. So let's get planting some dirt. So I also read the recommendation on when you get potting soil is to, it's dry obviously, to moisten it before you put it in the container, because if you put all the dry dirt in here and then you put your seed in, now you have to get it wet, and you don't want to totally soak your seed. You want to be able to put your seed in here once it's ready to go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the dirt, it's completely dry, there's no moisture in here at all. So I've warmed up water, you see boiling water, just to make sure to kill anything that might be in there. So I have some warm water, and I'm just going to put it all in here and get it nice and saturated, and then fill up the containers. And then we'll get some containers gone, and then we'll get some seeds going. To plant. We have 11 hot pepper varieties, and I'm going to be planting 2 per section. So with that, let me figure out how we're doing this. Okay, so we have 11 varieties of hot peppers. We have a 36 section, and it fits 9 across. So what I decided to do is I separated, so we're gonna do 7, or we're gonna do 4 containers of 2 each, so 8 plants. And then we're gonna do 4 varieties of just 2 sections, so 4 plants each. And those, I do have some jalapenos, so those will probably be the jalapenos and not the different kind of cool different varieties that we have. So again, if you're not sure how to plant it, rule of thumb is take the seed, it's double the size it is the widest. Or I'm going to, from seed to spoon app, doing hot peppers, it's telling me a 1/4 inch, and they sprout in 15 to 25 days. So that's really important because you need to know when to be expecting these to come out. So with that being said, let's figure out what we're going to plant first. Okay, so I have it's called a pepper fish, and that's a different variety, so I'm going to choosing to, just trying to figure out how to open this the best. I'm going to choose to do 4 containers, so 8 of these. So I'm going to do 2 per container. To make sure I have 2, I'm going to plant 3 though. So these aren't very big, as you can see. So I did grab a pencil, and I'm going to do on each end, because I'm going to hope that's where it comes up at. And I'm just going down about a 1/4 inch. This is my cat Oreo, who thinks she needs to help me. If it germinates really well and I get 3, then we're going to have a lot of these. But again, it's a different variety. You can't find these in Home Depot, obviously, or Lowe's, maybe your local nursery. So that's why I'm choosing these. I just need 3 more. Come on. I'll be done. My finger, go in there. Okay, now we're just going to come back and cover these up. Okay, and now to find that pepper fish. Do I know which one? I did. And I got it there. So that's what I'm going to do with each one. I'll just show you some of the ones I have. I have the lemon pepper, the big gem. That'll probably be one that I just do for the lemon drop. I don't know how to say this one. A habanero, I'll probably just do for like I said, lots of jalapenos. So we'll see what I end up doing. Well, I'm going to continue doing this. Like I said, we have a lot. Rule of thumb when you're planting either pull it up on your phone, Google search how to plant it, look at the back of the seed container, and it'll tell you also spacing and everything. But also I like the app because I can pull it up on my phone, and then at the same time I can put that I started the seed, and it's going to keep record for me in case I forget to label something or so forth. So I'm going to continue planting.